Sometimes the unexpected happens during childbirth, and our babies require special medical attention after childbirth. Understandably, that can be really scary, really intense. And so in this video, I'm going to offer some ideas for how to navigate that. But the first thing I want to say about this is, above all, I really encourage anyone that faces this very challenging circumstance to not blame themselves, because more often than not, what happened was a result, likely, of circumstances that were out of your control. For whatever reasons, sometimes complications happen. So again, to just keep finding your way back to forgiveness and kindness and just coming back to the present moment as often as you can. And sure, once you're through it and your baby is fine and home with you, you can review what happened, what maybe led to that circumstance, to see if there's anything you might want to do different if you get pregnant again. But for now, just give yourself permission to choose kindness, forgiveness, to not blame yourself, to again really stay in the present moment as often as you can, because when you're staying in the present moment, that's going to help you have the energy and the mental clarity to make decisions for your baby's care and to spend time with your baby, and then of course to take care of your own body, which just went through something monumental. So again, coming back to the present moment as often as possible. And in regards to forgiveness, I think that should also extend to your partner, because sometimes it's really natural to want to blame somebody for any pain that we're having. But sometimes when we're blaming our partner or they're blaming us, we just alienate ourselves from one another, when right now, you really want the support of your birth companion or your partner. So as much as possible for both of you to not play that blame game and to just really focus on supporting one another and of course your baby. Okay, something else to realize is that anger will probably be a part of the experience too. Not necessarily anger at somebody, but just anger at how unfair it is that your family is having to navigate this unforeseen circumstance. Anger that you didn't have that perfect, beautiful, healthy birth experience. And it's not fair. You deserve to have that beautiful birth experience. So it's normal to feel angry when you don't get it, when you're instead placed in this fearful circumstance. So to realize that is normal, and I will be providing tips for, releasing that fear, because we don't necessarily want, or that anger, because we don't want to suppress it, because when we're just shoving down negative emotions, then they just kind of build up. So I'm going to go through healthy ways to release any negative emotions that come up without pointing them at ourselves or somebody else. Healthier ways to just let it go as much as possible. Okay. So much of what you will do if your baby does need medical attention will depend on your unique circumstances, what kind of medical situation you're dealing with, the type of care they're needing. So the following is just more general tips for how you can stay grounded and as calm as possible during this experience. So I spoke about it before. Keep bringing yourself back to the present moment, because a lot of times when we're in somewhat scary situations like this, the mind tends to pop back and forth between the future and all the worst case scenarios in the future, and then all regrets from the past, and neither is productive. We want to stay in the present moment where we can focus on baby's care and of course, caring for ourselves and then our partner. So something that you can do if your mind starts to wander into unproductive realms is to focus on your 5 senses. So you can ask yourself, what can I see? What can I smell? What can I hear? What can I taste? What can I touch? And let those answers pull you back into the present moment. Something else to do is keep a running list of questions, because when your newborn has a health condition, you're going to be getting a storm of new information. You're going to be thinking of all these questions, and it can be really hard to remember all of those questions. So as soon as you have them, just write them down. So when you are with baby's care providers, you have all of your questions. And then as they're providing answers, you can also take notes to make sure that you don't forget what they told you later. You can also ask them if you can record them, which some will say no, but it's worth a try. And if they say anything that you're like, wait, I don't understand what they're talking about, I don't know what that word means, ask for clarification, because it'll just frustrate you later if you're like, dang it, like they were talking to me and I just don't know what they were talking about. Ask for clarification in the moment. Make those notes. Request thorough communication. So if your baby is in the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit, you probably won't be able to be with them 24/7, which could make you antsy for information, understandably. So ensure you stay up to date on what's going on by letting the care providers know that it's really important to you that they inform you of each new development as soon as possible. Okay, so sometimes in some circumstances, the baby would need to be transferred to a different hospital. And if you just had the baby and you're still in need of medical attention, you can ask if you can be transferred to the same hospital so you can both be in the same facility, and that'll make it easier to visit the baby as much as possible. You can also ask to be part of the baby's care team. So while most of the care that they will need to receive will require specialized training, things like bathing the baby, feeding them, changing their diapers, that of course is something that you can do. So asking to be as involved as possible in their care while they're at the hospital. Creating a physical anchor. So something that happens when we're in a space of fear is sometimes it can feel like we leave our body and we're really ungrounded. If you notice this happening, if you notice that you're floating out of your body and into this like fearful realm, to have a physical anchor, like pressing on your shoulders, hugging yourself, pressing your palms into your eyes. And as you do that, to just tell yourself, it's safe to come back into my body. It's safe to come back into my body. And just allow that motion to like really ground you and again, bring you back into that present moment. And it's just comforting to give yourself a hug. Again, don't blame yourself. Anytime you start to go into that space of blame, literally tell yourself, stop. You can say it out loud, say, stop. I'm not to blame. Stop blaming myself. Don't blame myself. Just tell yourself to stop and make yourself stop. It's not going to be productive to start blaming yourself. Okay, to take an hour every day to let out your emotions. So before I talked about the anger that might come up, of course, there's all sorts of negative emotions that you might experience during this time. So if you're able to go into a private space, it could even be the bathroom or your car, and to just let yourself rage or cry or journal about everything that you're thinking, to just really let it all out. Scream if you're angry. And if you feel like it would be productive to have a sounding board during this time, to ask a friend or family member to come and sit with you during your hour of emotional release. And let them know, say, I don't want any advice. I literally just need a supportive person sitting there listening to me saying, oh, wow, yeah, that sounds hard. Yeah, let it out, let it out. I don't recommend doing this with your partner because they're probably also going through a lot of their own intense emotions. So it's best if you guys can each have your own sounding boards during this emotional release. And then when you come back together, both of you will probably be in a calmer state. So again, at least for an hour every day, make a concerted effort to just let all of those emotions run through and out of you. Okay, going for a walk. So as you probably know, being in a medical facility can feel stifling, stuffy, sterile. So it can be so beneficial to just get outside for a little bit each day. You can walk around the block, do anything you can to get a little bit of physical activity and some fresh air. You can listen to some soothing music or a guided meditation as you walk. Just again, really utilize the therapeutic properties of the great outdoors and exercise. Nurturing your basic needs. So I know this can sound silly, but when you're in a state of panic or trauma, it can be really easy to forget to drink water. to feed yourself, to go shower, to go to the bathroom. Really remember to take care of your basic needs, because that is going to make it so much easier to navigate these trying times, and it'll make you better equipped to be there for your baby. So don't forget your own basic needs. They're essential. And then finally, joining a support group. So having a child with unexpected medical needs can feel incredibly isolating. It can feel like nobody could possibly relate to your pain. And so by seeking the camaraderie of a support group with other parents that are currently dealing with similar situations or have dealt with it in the past can be incredibly healing. They can also provide really good resources, provide tips on, great care providers, helpful treatments for various conditions, and how to work with your insurance provider, which can be a big one. So they can offer really great emotional support, but also really amazing practical tips. So usually your baby's doctor could provide some great recommendations for support groups, but you could also look into the March of Dimes, National Perinatal Association, and shareyourstory.org can all help to connect you with helpful resources. All right, if you're currently going through the challenge of, having a baby with special medical needs, my heart goes out to you. I'm sending you so much love. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.